I got a comment from an audience member of mine. Shout out to you. Ladies and gentlemen, when we're talking about this stuff, please don't take it as anybody attacking your platform of choice. We're just pointing out to exactly what it is that, we see when it comes down to the way the consoles work, the proposition that they both provide. So these conversations, they need to be had because they will really help us get down to the nitty-gritty of things. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this comment, look at the claims that were made, and then I'm going to give my own perspective, also from experience as well, and we'll look at the material facts to see if, the console proposition actually is what is being described as in this comment. So this audience member said, real gamers don't care about specs. They said what they care about is value, agreed, options, agreed, ease of access, agreed, and cost, which only a console can provide not only to casuals, but also to the hardcore. I disagree with that, and I'll explain. They said just because PC gets a bunch of games, the reality is more than 50% is shovelware because it's mostly self-published games. Now, I disagree with that claim because this is a misnomer and it's coming from somebody who may not necessarily be aware of games that are on Steam. If you go look at Steam releases for this year, you can actually click a button and it will take you to all the newest release games for the year. And you can see it all by yourself, right? A lot of people always claim that these games are shovelware, yet these games have an audience of people that actually do play them. Like you'll see them here. They're all here. You can come see them yourself. You don't need VG to take you to a free website that has all the information that you want to see. I think maybe people equate most games as if it doesn't have this sect of budget, then it's not a game worth playing. But you have to realize that people are spending their own personal funds and they're not publishers. They're not Microsoft or PlayStation or Rockstar. Shoot, they're not even freaking the developers over at Sandfall to even be able to cop that kind of money or even get an Epic Games grant. They grind, go on YouTube, learn the skills and the art, and basically cook up a game. They, collate with friends and start learning the process. So not all the games here, as crazy as it may sound, are shovelware. Many of them are games made from, developers who have put in a lot of effort to basically get these games. It's almost a miracle to launch a game. It's a very, very difficult thing. That's number one. I wanted to go ahead and point that out. Number two, I replied and said, the word value and console don't appear in the same sentence. Let me explain. I played Tom Clancy's Division 2. I played Division 1 as well on both PlayStation and PC. Value is far from that console proposition from my experience having played on both of them for significant amounts of time. I don't play many games. I'll play like 3 or 4 like 2 dedicatedly. And then I'll play other games, minimally here or there sporadically. Here's my Division 2 account on PC. Actually, this is one of my Division 2 accounts on PC. To play online, I do not have to pay any money. I log in and I start playing the game and I have access to online communities. The game is basically an online service. But if you were to want to play on PlayStation, you need to have a PlayStation Plus subscription. Hence, to say that it is more valuable on console betrays the fact that I actually have to spend extra money to play a game that I already purchased. In fact, if you want to know, I'm also a member of an active Division clan whom I'll be jumping back in hopefully pretty soon to play the new content, but I got to renew my PlayStation Plus subscription after having already bought the game and bought the DLC and bought the expansion. So if you want to play a game like this on console, of which most of us have one game like this, that is not a free-to-play online game, we have to pay money. I think a lot of people who say these things to me, they don't realize that I actually do play games on console. Many of them don't believe it. I tell them all the time, they're like, nah, you don't. But I'm like, if I pull receipts, you're going to have to delete your comments, but I don't want to throw anybody under the bus. So you need to be careful when you're saying those things. Then I replied and I continued and I said, access is the furthest thing that you can even point to as console makers abandon older games when they switch generations. PC, on the other hand, is a platform for access. Now, this is a very complex one, but it's one that's actually very interesting because somebody replied to a comment I made in that video where I was talking about Dead to Rights, a game that I played a while ago. In the first breakdown, you said Dead to Rights is backward compatible on Xbox. Bro, I found out just like an hour after publishing this video about Doc. I was on X. I was like, you know what? Let me see what Dead to Rights is. And I saw that there's an Xbox Dead to Rights. I clicked the thing. I said, what? it digital? I was like, is it compatible? Is it backward compatible? And I was like, what? It's backward compatible? I can play that. I copped it immediately. I was so excited. I mean, I was scheduled to make dinner today, and I was making a Nigerian dish. So it took the whole day. I just installed the thing, and I haven't even fired it up yet. But this is good that there is backward compatibility on the Xbox platform for some games, and I can play this game even though the game is as old as dirt, basically at this point, right? So this is great. This is amazing. However, I don't have access to this game, to other games like this or many other games because they're missing from the backward compatible program. Even though Xbox's backward compatible program, just because of this game, I'm willing to give them the goated status. Does that make sense? However, it is still lacking in some things in the sense that some games are just not available. And even some games that are available are artificially locked out from the access to improve or play improved versions of the game by the publisher themselves. I'll give you another example. Another example being, say, the Arkham games. I own Arkham Knight on almost every platform. I own a PlayStation version, I think, maybe physical. I own an Xbox version. I think I have a digital and a physical version of it. It's one of my most owned games. Everywhere you look, there's like an Arkham game, right? I have the Good Old Games version of the game. I have the Epic Games version of it. Even I got that one for free in the Batman 80th anniversary. But you get the point, right? But do you know that on the Xbox or on the PlayStation, you cannot play these games at 60 FPS? You cannot play Arkham Knight at 60 FPS, even though the PS5 and the Series S and X will obliterate that game at 60 FPS. The developers have actively locked it. You are blocked away from accessing that game at the performance that your machine can actually play it at. I would know. I beat it on PlayStation first. 30 FPS. And again, you're right. I don't care about the resolution. However, it's a much better experience than my, hardware is, should be able to, deal with and capture, but I'm locked away from it. These things continue to plague the console ecosystem at the end of the day. And then cost, which I replied and said, as for cost, it's not even a question. PC is dirt cheap. Your games cost less, as well as a lack of subscriptions to play online. People don't believe that PCs are not that expensive. Many times, I think a lot of people will look at the RTX 5090 and say, this is what it costs to actually play, and then it's like, this is what it costs for an architect who's trying to build a freaking stadium for an Olympic event to actually get a gaming, get a PC of this magnitude. And that's how they judge, the cost of PC gaming. If you understand what I mean. Now, this person replied and said, that absolutely not. They said, my Xbox Series X cost me $300. Okay, very good. Let me see. Cost me $300 day one. The value provides that the cost doesn't even come close. Why? Because I have the option to trade my older hardware and pay the difference. A PC cannot provide that option. You see, that's not true. This is why I usually tell people who play on consoles to desist from actually talking about the things that console provides, because many of them have not experienced it enough to have what I think is a sound, assessment of it. If you go on eBay, let me give you a quick hint. If you go on eBay, you're going to see your mind's going to be blown. You can part your PC out up to the case, the chassis of that PC, and sell every single thing. You can sell your power supply. I once bought a power supply from, I think it was Facebook Marketplace, $10 for, I think it was like a 500 watt power supply. I thought it wasn't going to work. The guy was like he just wanted to get rid of it. It was in a Walmart bag. I had to take it out of the bag. I mean, that's just, when I used to be so curious about the whole PC pricing and everything. I'm very well versed with it. I like to learn. When I learn, I like to put my hands in it, right? So I was trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, you can part out stuff like crazy. You can sell it and people will buy it from you. One of the fastest things I ever sold was a GTX 980. I owned this 980. I think I bought it from somebody. I listed it on eBay and I was like, it's still under warranty. As I hit submit, I walked away, walked back. I already got offers hitting. I mean, I sold a CPU. Yo, again, different conversation, right? You said, just like my console, I also have 4 generations of Xbox consoles. I only have 1 generation of PC. That's about it. I mean, it's just I have a case that I've been using since 2017. Does that count? But that case, I've been switching and flipping its insides to make it much more beefier. It started out with like an i7, like an Intel i7 4790, and then I switched it up to a 7700, and then now it's running a 5800X 3D. And then you said with free upgrades, free cloud gaming, we have free cloud saves, free dedicated servers with all my games, free forward compatibility with peripherals. That's on PC as well. 4K game capture, we do that on PC. Quick resume, we don't have that. Twitch, Discord, game streaming, we got that. VR, we got that. Dolby HDR, I think we got HDR. Atmos surround, blah, 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 blah. Cloud gaming on the go, we got that. Online gaming, we got that. And game subscription for only $20 a month. We don't need it, but we also got that. Not to mention high quality games, again, for only $300. Look at your subscription costs. Your peripherals are also limited too. You said this though. Compatibility with peripherals. Compatibility with only peripherals that Xbox allows. I, on the other hand, back and forth. I play my other games with the Xbox controller. Mortal Kombat I play with the PlayStation controller. You said no Walmart or cheap PC can provide all that for that price. Do you really want to go though? Do you really want this fight? Like, yo, he said, sorry, that's just incorrect. I have a high-power PC as well. I'm also a computer tech by trade, but the ease of access and the lack of nuisance of PC plus cost will never match the console. I'm very surprised that a lot of people who own PCs have not really thugged it out, in quote, in this whole PC pricing thing. Like, many of you you're ballers, man. I think some of you really did land into this thing like, oh yeah, I have a high-power PC. What? If you've ever built from ground up and actually scraped parts and look for the best deals long enough, you would realize that this whole talk about high-powered PC is just a mirage. It's just a mirage. Does that make sense? I don't see any way that anybody would say they have a high-powered PC and say all what you just said. You probably don't game on it. You probably don't even use it. And that's fine. You know what I mean? You said your entire library comes with your OG Xbox games, which you can share with your family, including Game Pass. Bro, we got family share on Steam. We've had library share for years too. You play on an OLED TV, yes, still doesn't have the quality TV quality or size. Other consoles don't give you the value. I agree. Xbox as a whole is a different story. Again, like I said before, real gamers care about games, not tech specs. We can discuss all day. I've been gaming since '79. I've been here through it all. OG. I've only been gaming since, like, let me see. Maybe 1999. Okay, since you've been gaming since '79, you should know this then. My first PC game that I ever played was Commandos. Does that give you a time? Does it give you a timeline? It should give you a timeline. Okay? Commandos was the first game I played on PC, behind enemy lines. However, I can tell you, OG, that it is not the same as when I first put my hands on computing back in there. It is. I was playing it for my kids the other day. I told my sons were sitting with me. I was like, hey guys, look at the first game I ever played on PC that I remember. Well, maybe Duke Nukem of some kind, but dedicatedly sat there and played for, because my dad brought his computer from work home. And a relative of mine was like showing me how to, use a PC, and we're playing this game and stuff like that. The representation that you've actually given the whole PC thing is absolutely strange to me. You've been a tech, and it's mostly the techs too that have like, and I think maybe it could be a lot of people who work with and on computers, they associate their work as this vice when it comes to their hobby of gaming. So they basically import all of that on the PC and make it seem like the PC is this terrible thing at the end of the day. I don't see anything that console that you've listed it could do that the PC cannot do. There's not and not just do, but do better. There was not a single thing that you listed that the PC will not do and do better. A very interesting conversation nonetheless. Anyways, like I said, it's about the games. You know what I mean? I'm just pointing out that when people say these things, you have to realize that there are other people who are looking for what they think is a much stronger proposition. And if the PC can give them that proposition, we should not withhold that information from them. We should be at least in a position where we say it's a matter of preference at the end of the day. Does that make sense? That's all it is. It's just a matter of preference. Some people, it's just a matter of practicality. It's okay. It is what it is. Thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. Peace out.